What makes an introvert such a badass? In this video, I'm gonna go over the top 5 reasons why I think introverts are badasses. And some of these reasons, not even introverts themselves know they have. So this video is going to be very helpful for those introverts who are, starting to learn about themselves, and also for those extroverts out there who underestimate the powers of introverts. So, as you may know, this is a YouTube channel for introverts, and I am an introvert myself, and I would like to share everything I know with you guys. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with today's video. If you guys like my channel, make sure you subscribe and make sure you like this video if you like what you heard at the end of it. Let's go ahead and get started. So, reason number 1 as to why introverts are such badasses, it is their level of awareness. So, as you may know, or may not know, introverts actually have an increased amount of awareness. So, by definition, an introvert can actually know what's going on around them and be aware of multiple things at the same time. Now, for the most part, this actually comes off a little bit weird. Usually to most people that, here comes this guy who can come in, maybe come into a room and he knows exactly what the guy on the left is doing and what the guy on the right is doing, and he knows what conversation is going on over there, and he can actually, focus on all those things at the same time, actually, which makes the introvert seem like, he's like some sort of like crazy guy, with some crazy ability to be able to do that. But actually, yeah, me as an introvert, I've realized this many times, to the degree like sometimes I actually voice this to people and they just sort of freak out and they think it's kind of weird that, how can you possibly do that? And so, at some point, it kind of becomes a little scary, because like, everybody in that room kind of feels like there's no sense of privacy at some point. But as an introvert, just realize that you do have that potential to have that awareness and be able to, notice things around on your surroundings, that other people may not. Extroverts for the most part don't notice these things. They're more focused on, what's going on right in front of them. And for the most part, if they go in a room that's very loud and stuff, most likely they're going to become part of that loudness. They're going to go and join some conversation here and there, start networking and start talking to people and stuff like that. Us introverts will not, we won't do that, unless of course, that's what we're there for in that meeting. Then in that case, we're going to be executing our tools and techniques, and then probably get the hell out of there once we're done. Once we've accomplished the objective, once the mission is accomplished, we are ejecting out of that room, because that room is like a ticking bomb. As soon as you go in there, the bomb starts ticking, the timer starts ticking down, and if you don't get out of there quickly, as an introvert, that could explode, and then that just goes bad, as we all know as introverts. So, level of awareness. So just realize that you have that level of awareness. If you're an introvert watching this video, realize that your awareness is not something bad. It's just an added feature to being an introvert, and you should embrace it and use it wisely. Use it wisely, because, this awareness, you can use it for many things. This is why introverts, for the most part, can be really good at, using things like computers and technology that seems to be very complicated, because there's a lot of things going on at the same time simultaneously. And so for an introvert, it's very easy to be able to know what's going on here, what's going on there. Maybe I'm downloading this, I'm doing this, I'm running this scan over here, I'm opening this file over here, I am compressing this file over there, I'm doing this and that. And so maybe you're programming, maybe you wrote a specific set of code, then you wrote another code, then you're going to put this code together. That there's a section in this code that's going to go really well with this one, but you have to worry about this one too, that you don't modify this one when you create this one. And so, there's a lot of things going on. And for an introvert, that is lovely. That is lovely. That is fucking amazing. That's like heaven, like, oh, something along those lines, right? So just realize that as an introvert, you have that level of awareness. So make sure you go out there and you develop it, and make sure that you're starting to embrace how badass of an introvert you are. All right, so number 2, your ability to focus. Now, this sort of contradicts the previous one, which I just said, that you have this level of awareness, which is much higher than most people, where you're able to, put your focus in different areas at the same time. Your ability to focus on one thing is also very, it comes very natural to introverts as well. So let's just say you're trying to focus on one task. So you're trying to maybe you're doing a research paper or something. Maybe you're just researching, so you're able to focus on your research massively. So you're able to open maybe 5-10 pages of research, and you're able to look through everything, and look here. I'm looking through all the research and stuff, and you're taking notes as you're looking at all of them. You're reading here, you're reading there, and you're able to remember all these things. And the reason why that happens is because you're an introvert and your ability to focus is really good, that you're able to focus and really zone in, as to whatever it is that you're doing. You're able to zone in really well, and you're able to block the outside world much easier than maybe an extrovert or somebody else who's not an introvert can do. So your ability to focus is there. You're able to just put anything, whatever it is, aside, and just focus on whatever it is that you're doing. Like right now, actually right now I'm not really doing that. Actually I've got my level of awareness in multiple areas actually, but for the most part, I'm able to focus and actually deliver this content to you guys in a way that it's supposed to be done. But so you have your ability to focus. So here's the thing, like, that's something that not a lot of people have naturally, because especially in these days, because we live in such a world where there's so many distractions, so many things are trying to take our attention. And so sometimes it's people, sometimes it's things, and so it makes it very hard for us to really focus and zone into whatever it is that we want to do. So there's that. And so but as an introvert, just realize that you have this ability to focus and zone in really well on one particular task. You have that in you, so go ahead and develop that. Bring some awareness to that, and when you're out there, you're doing tasks, make sure that you realize that you have that naturally. And so just embrace it and show it off to your extroverted friends, because that is a secret ability. All right, so number 3, using communication as a tool. So here's the thing about communication. Extroverts like to use communication and talk to people as a form of like bonding and making connections and getting to know people, getting to know the story of the other person, and really like emotionally connecting and stuff like that. Us introverts, for the most part, don't do that. We don't see the interest in that. We don't see any. It just doesn't compute. It just doesn't compute, because it's just something that comes very natural to extroverts. Just like we're right here, we're talking about like the natural things that come to introverts. That is one of those things that comes very natural to extroverts, and us introverts will probably never get to that level of really getting it to be natural to us. To some degree, we can replicate it, we can create a strategy behind it, but at the end of the day, it will never be enjoyable as much as it is for them. So us as introverts, we have the ability to use communication as a tool, which is just as effective as extroverts, and it probably is more effective than it is for extroverts. Because here's the thing, while extroverts, they enjoy just having conversations with people and just having a good time and talking here and there, blah blah blah, they're sharing their story, they're sharing experiences they went through and stuff like that. Us introverts are more strategic. When we're sharing an experience, we're sharing a story, it's for a purpose. So maybe we share a story because we want to we want to make the communication more comfortable. Let's just say we're sharing a funny story. So in that case, we want to make we want to make the vibe of the communication very happy, fun, exciting. We're trying to like sort of like break the ice. Like maybe there's a little bit of tension between that person. Maybe we don't know that person that much just yet. So we want to actually ease our way into creating that comfort. So we'll do that through stories that are funny. Or maybe, we're trying to scare the other person. So in that case, we tell a scary story. We tell a story about like something terrifying, that happened in this one place and stuff like that. And then like whatever, and so you do something like that. Or maybe you want to create some sort of mystery. The communication, we use it as a tool. We use it to create some sort of emotion. So we do something like that. Or maybe, you know, we're in a networking environment. We want to meet this person because we want to do business with that person. So we go and we talk to them and we start doing things like, you know, we start to talk about them, you know, because we know that that's really how networking works. You go up to the person, you tell them, hey, you know what, like, look, I've seen what your company does. It's amazing. You know, I'm a big fan of this one thing that you did. It's so good. You know, like I myself, you know, maybe they sell a product and you're like, oh, you know, I used that product myself and it was amazing. Like I went through this and that, and I was like, oh my God, I started talking to my friends about it. It was amazing, right? So you started like sort of like, you know, talking nice about their stuff, you know, because you want to network with them and you want to show them that you actually have some sort of interest and that you're informed about, you know, that person's company and their product and what they do and what they represent and stuff like that. And when somebody hears that, you know, for the most part, they feel like, you know, you've put in some work and you actually care about them. So then most likely they'll end up doing some sort of business or something's going to happen there. And so, or maybe you're in a different situation. Maybe you're actually trying to make friends. And so you go and you try to, you know, share common interest, find common ground and stuff like that. And maybe a couple of disagreements here and there, but then the disagreements are not that big of a deal because they don't actually clash with your real core values. So in that case, you know, maybe you guys disagree, but it doesn't matter because, you know, it doesn't affect the core values. So, you know, there's that. Maybe you as a guy, you're trying to get a girl to go out with you, so then you go and you talk to the girl and you know, in the attractive way, and so, you know, eventually go and you get a date with her. So everything's with a purpose. Everything, you know, communication, we use it as a tool. It's not something that's enjoyable, you know. Everything is a means to an end when it comes to our communication, and that's beautiful. So if you're an introvert and you're struggling right now to communicate with others, just all you can really do is just study. So going out there, you know, there's books out there, there's courses, there's videos on YouTube and stuff like that that can teach you how to actually use communication as a tool and use communication to get what you want. Now, of course, you know, you have to do your research as far as like what you want to use communication for. So maybe you want to make more friends, so then go and look for communication that's going to help you make more friends. Maybe you want to attract more women if you're a guy, so then you go and you learn how to talk to women and stuff like that. Maybe you're trying to get more business. You go and you learn how to communicate, you know, in order for you to get more business and meet more people and network. So you do that. All right, number 4, the layers of analysis. So layers of analysis. Now, just so you know, this entire video is improvised. You know, I'm actually coming up with the content as I'm recording this video. I actually have the only thing I really have is just a list of I have them down here. I have the list of the things I'm gonna cover, the 5 reasons. But other than that, I'm just coming up with the content on the fly, and that's because us introverts, we have this special ability to go into layers of analysis, which means that we're able to take a topic and really break it down, and we can do that naturally. We can just break down the whatever thing it is, of course. Now, obviously, we have to actually care about that, you know, but once we do, we're able to go layers and layers and layers and layers down, and the layers of analysis actually are very incredible, and it's very nice that we have that, actually, because, you know, for the most part, you know, whatever it is that we get into, we're able to dig really deep into it, and we naturally want to dig deep into it, and for the most part, we do. So that's why we us introverts, we get so good at what we do, and we're actually and that's why for the most part, you know, a lot of people consider introverted guys, and well, introverted people for that matter, a little bit weird, because you know, we like to we can break things down to degrees where most people, the average person, will never go. You know, they'll never go there, you know, and so because they think it's just stupid, it's ridiculous, it's pointless, it's this, it's that, blah blah blah. But for us, it's not. For us, it's actually it's kind of logical, and actually kind of makes sense, which is why introverts actually have a great time for the most part, you know, being alone. And for the most part, you know, us introverts don't tend to suffer as much because we understand at the core, and we're able to see more logic than we are able to see emotion. So then for the most part, what then happens is that we're able to understand a situation for what it really is, because we're able to go layers down, as opposed to most extroverted people who, for the most part, they're kind of like going out there, they're asking people, hey, what do you think about this? Hey, what do you think about that? What do you think about this? What do you think about that? We actually have that ourselves. We can actually question ourselves and do that layer of analysis where we go down deeper and deeper and deeper. And so this is something that you have naturally as an introvert. So if you have this ability, make sure you use it to solve your problems, whatever it is. And sometimes you go down deeper in the layers, and obviously you don't always have the answers to those questions that you may be asking yourself. So it's always a good idea to go and use Google and or whatever browser you want, whatever search engine you want to use, and do your research, as far as like what you can use. I mean, what are the answers to those layers, so whatever questions you have, go into those layers of analysis and start analyzing things like that. And so it's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. You're going to love it. And so yeah. And number four is number four. I mean, what number are we on? Wait, what the hell? Let me see. 3, 4. Oh, we're number 5. Okay, so number 5. My bad right now. It's early in the morning and I'm like, what the hell's going on, man? All right, so number 5 is great listeners. So introverts are the best listeners, period. Like, we just listen. We just listen. Like, we're just really good at listening. And let me tell you something. I mean, for the most part, this is something that I just feel like I'm really good at this. Like, because, not only am I naturally good at listening, but also, I've put in the time to work on that even deeper. Like I said, you go layers of analysis. So you start to look deeper and deeper as to how you can become even a more and more great listener and stuff like that. And so, listening is something that's not very common these days, especially with extroverts. They are the worst listeners. I gotta say, the worst listeners. There's no question about that. There's some extroverts are, they're decent, but for the most part, they are the worst. They might be the best communicators as far as like speaking out and saying what they feel and being able to express everything verbally. So at communication, I feel like they're a little bit better. They might be a little bit more, they might be able to deliver things a little bit better. And even then, I still think that a trained introvert can actually deliver things better than just an extrovert. But we're not going to get into that right now. We're talking about being a great listener. So, yeah, for the most part, extroverts just love to talk. And for the most part, they don't work on their listening aspect. And that's because they're always talking all the time. That's what they love to do. And that's what makes them comfortable. And so for the most part, extroverts, they're not really aware of this. So for the most part, they stay in their comfort zone. And their comfort zone is really to be talking and blabbering stuff all the time. And so, they don't push themselves in the aspect of actually listening and closing their mouth and not talking at all. So you as an introvert realize that you have a very good listening ability. And, that listening ability can be used for many ways. Whether you're trying to learn something through video, which is amazing, if you're, watching a seminar or something, you can listen for hours and you won't get bored. Of course, saying that you actually care and, the topic matters to you. And even then, sometimes, it's just natural. Like for me, it just comes natural now. Like somebody starts talking, I start listening, even if I have nothing to do with that conversation there, I'll just listen, like we said in the first with the first thing over here with the level of awareness, I just know what's going on. But yeah, so there's that. And then so you can use your abilities to be a great listener for that, or you can use them for to listen to other people. People are always you can even use this for extroverts. This is why extroverts and introverts, for the most part, they can get along in this area, because the introvert will listen, the extrovert will talk. And so that makes for a very nice, little combination there, I should say. But it doesn't work when it's the other way around. So when it's the other way around, an introvert has to go and find another introvert, which for the most part is kind of hard. Actually, I have not found an introvert right now in my life. I haven't found it. I have not found it. You know, I've got a couple people around me, they're claiming that they're introverts. They're not introverts. All right, stop claiming that you're an introvert, because you don't even come close to the 5 things that I spoke about in this video. And I've seen it, I've noticed it, I can see these things. Like I said, number 1, level of awareness. So that's it. You know, my level of awareness is pretty high, so I can realize, I can notice these things. And if I don't see any of those things, then for the most part, I don't consider that person an introvert. So yeah. But yeah, like I said, if you're an introvert and you're looking for somebody to listen to you, you're gonna have to go and find an introvert. That way there's an understanding. And I have that. I have like 2 people in my life right now who are very close to being introverts. They're very good listeners, and at the same time, you know, they share what they feel with me as well. And so I listen, and it works really nicely. Usually, for the most part, you know, introverts get along with introverts really well. Really well. And in another video, I'll probably share more reasons why introverts are such badasses, and why, you know, other people should be jealous of introverts. But yeah, that's the end of this video. This video went very long, very long. Woo! I thought it was gonna be shorter. I was trying to make it shorter, but it is what it is. It's out there now. Now you know. If you're an introvert, you know exactly where you gotta zone in, and you can make the most impact. So now get out there and show the world how much of a badass you are, and show off your abilities. And of course, if you have any introverted friends, make sure you share this video with them. That way they're able to develop their superpowers of introverts, and you know, we can make this world an introverted world. All right, so make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit the like button if you like the video, and until next time.